Hello, this is Mad Dog 100 here. This is my channel. This is more of an updated version of what's going on with the cabin I'm building. As you see, I've got a bunch of posts up now. I'm still working on the rest of the postings. Alright, basically the walkthrough. As you see, I've started getting the fire pit set. That's where the door is. This is where when the walls go up, I'll stack my wood inside for a fire pit right there. Over here is where the bed blocks will go when the walls go up. Basically, here's how I get the posts ready. Once I get them up here, that is, I just lay them there and get them set to prep them. What the posts are going to do is support the wall as it's being built. Basically, I lay the logs for the wall in between there. That's not a walling log, that's just a log to show the basic idea. You put them between the rows of two posts so that it'll support the logs as you build up the wall. You notch out the corners of your logs while they're in the frame. Excuse the clutter. I've just got stuff here I've been using while I work. Yeah. As you can see, not really too much work has gone into it yet. The real work will be when I start putting up walls by myself. Those are the tools I've used so far. This is how I went about clearing the land where it's being built at. After I chopped the big stuff down, I did controlled burning. This is a controlled burn. As you can see, just keep the fire small and keep it under control. My method is dirt and a shovel. Just the shovel blade, unless it seems I need the dirt to stamp out the flames a little better. But you just run the shovel around, back, forth, side to side, in circles and all over where the flames are. It'll snuff out the flames, as long as you keep it small. And you just let the flame kind of travel, but you control where it's going to travel by putting them out as they go places you don't want them to go. As you see, I started way over there and I brought it over to where it is now. I've cleared all this like this. Everything you see here that's short used to be like that over there. You see what it is now. So you just keep the flames small and you control where they go by this method here. Run the shovel side to side, front, back, in circles and all around it. It kind of kicks the dirt up and all on top of the flame to help snuff them down. And here we go to look at what I'm doing from another angle. Like I said, you keep the fire small and keep it controllable. I started over there, I burned it all the way around the corner to here. And this right here is about as big as you ever want to let the flames get. So it's time to start snapping them out with the shovel. As you see, you move it, you get the blade onto the flame, move it back and forth, side to side, in circles and all, to get it under control. I recommend that if you're going to do this and you've not had experience with it, you make sure you have people there to help you. I've been doing it for years, so it's nothing to me, quite easy indeed for me. Because I know what I'm doing with it. I also recommend you have a healthy respect for fire and a healthy understanding of how it works before you ever use fire to clear something. Okay. As you see, this is my basic principle here. Once again, sorry about the camera work. I'm using my cell phone because it's the only camera I have available at the moment, and I'm doing it by myself. So there's not even anyone there to do the videotaping for me. So, yeah. Sorry again for the quality of video. After we move on through the control burn lesson here, well, example, not lesson. you some further details of how this works for what I've done so far for the cabin. It's not very much, but it's something. And again, with the controlled burn, I recommend, if you're not used to doing it, never do it alone. Now those that you see there is a post hole. There's a post in one already, there's another hole. Those are the post hole diggers. They basically work through a scissor action. You take the blade down there and slam it into the ground. You pull the handles apart, which closes the blade. You lift it up, dump the dirt in the pile over there, and repeat until you get it deep enough. I'm digging mine about 2.5 foot deep. And then once you get the post in, you just pack that dirt back into the hole around the post as tightly as possible. First with your hands, and then you take a stick or something and just bam it up and down all over it to just pack it in tight as you possibly can. Now you've seen my logs I've laying around. That's how I get them here, is that drag system right there. I get them here, I cut all the excess wood off of them with a 21-inch blade hand-drawn bow frame saw, which you see hanging on the post right there. Cut off the excess to get them about the right length to work for what I'm doing. Get rid of any damaged wood and everything off of them. And keep that damaged wood around. It goes great to start your firewood supply for the fire pit, which will later heat this cabin. And the flooring will be done with spreading gravel across the ground there, so I'm not walking into red clay all the time. Other than that, once I get the walls up, I can show you how the walls go up and show you what to do about a roof. But this is all non-taxable in Fairfield County, South Carolina, the way I'm building, so bear with me. Now, as you see, there's the axe that I use to chop all the trees I use down. And then I chop the limbs off, and then I drag them back to the build site. You're about to see how I go about dragging. There's what I'm going to drag right there. As you see, it's got the straps coming from it. They're tied to that old dried, hardened branch. And then they've got their hooks at the end of the straps right here, go into the eyelets of the chain. Links, eyelets, whatever you want to call. And I run the chain through that lock. I do not lock it in the lock. I use the gap in the lock like a cinch. I run the chain through it, pull it in, yank it tight a few times through that hole there so that it stays locked down around it. And then I get the tension onto the line out here. And the way I do that is I come out here to the end of it. I got where there's another strap tied hanging off the other end of the branch. I wrap that around my wrist and hand a few times and then grab hold of the branch. And I just start dragging it behind me as I walk. I'm not going to show you the film of dragging it all the way back because that would take a few minutes. Because I had to drag a pretty good little distance for this one. So I don't want to bore you with all that added time. So basically, as you see, that was the method for the dragging to get the logs that I'm going to work with for posts and for the wall and for everything else back to the cabin.